2024. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Is there anyone with pecuniary interest?
None.
Unknown.
Okay, we'll move on to delegations, and Ashley Don is here from NNP to present an audited financial statement.
Perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. First, I'll go through our independent auditor's report. So we have completed our audit procedures pending approval by the council for the statements. In terms of our opinion, we've given a clean opinion that the financial statements as at December 31st, 2023 fairly present the operations of the organization in accordance with public sector accounting standards. So management is responsible for the preparation of the financial statements, and our auditor responsibilities would be to obtain reasonable assurance on those consolidated statements to ensure they're free from misstatement. I'll just touch on a couple key pieces of the statements. So in terms of the statement of financial position, total assets for the year increased over the previous year to $11,990,000. Liabilities increased to $1.7 million. Net financial assets, $10,206,000. Looking at non-financial assets, $26 million for the year. So overall, the accumulated surplus noted at $36,380,000. Looking at the statement of operations, revenues for the year set at $8,136,000 with offsetting expenditures of $7,437,000. There's a total annual surplus of $701,000 for the year, which then it did increase the accumulated surplus to the number I mentioned previously, to that $36,380,000. So we did review the financial information, the notes, and the statements themselves to give that clean opinion that the financials are fairly presented. We've also provided our audit findings report, and no issues have come to light to flag here today. Happy to take any questions on the statements if there is any.
Anyone have any questions?
I don't think.
No? No questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Is there anything else, Ashley, that you would like to go over with council? We can't hear you. You're on mute.
No, nothing on my end. Thank you again to management for all your support. Nothing else to highlight in my statements here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so normal process now would be to have a motion from council adopting the audited financial statements. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilor Burgess.
I'll second.
Seconded. All right, so Councilor Melter. All in favor? Okay, that's approved.
Just bear with me. I'm not as quick as Jennifer at this.
We should have asked, is there any questions from our treasurer?
That's a wondering too, yeah.
Is Amelia back, Ashley?
No, she's on vacation.
Till when?
She's back tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
The only other question, I guess, we ask this every year, is about our reserves and your professional opinion on where we're at with our reserve funds. Are we in good shape?
I think the key piece of it is just looking at kind of the funds that have been set aside and the sufficiency there of them and how they're being used. So in terms of our review and looking at different municipalities that we review as well, I would say that there's, you know, adequate funds set aside for the projects that you guys have set up to save for, and then even for kind of the working capital piece of it as well, having that money set aside. So nothing that I would flag as concerning.
Okay.
That's good.
And I note that our reserves have remained consistent over last year, slight increase, but are holding their own, right?
They went up almost $1 million in the year, but yeah, fairly similar.
Okay. Up is good on that accounting line, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
good. All right, well, thank you very much for taking your time to present that.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
good
Thanks,
evening.
Ashley. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Minutes?
Sorry. Adoption of the minutes, there's do them separately or group them. It's for June 25th and July 5th.
I'll move that the minutes from June 25th and July 5th of the Village of Panera Council be adopted as circulated.
I'll second those.
Seconded by Councilor Mondu. Questions? All in favor? Okay. That is done. Is there any tasks to worry about moving forward?
Nothing.
I didn't see anything. So move on to financial reports. First one is operations for June.
I'll move that the total revenues and general operations for the month of June 2024 in the amount of $7,258,283.24 be approved, and that the total expenditures in general operations for the month of June 2024 in the amount of $962,180.50 be approved.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Move on to environmental services.
I will move that the total revenues in the environmental services for the month of June 2024 in the amount of $118,420.96 be approved, and that the total expenditures in environmental services for the month of June 2024 in the amount of $110,766.20 be approved. Financial statements for the month of May 2024 showing revenues of $134,647.11 and expenditures of $189,861.87 be received and filed.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Move on to committee reports. Operations is first.
I'll move that the operations minutes from the committee meeting of July 9th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Council Burgess.
I could just say a few highlights from that meeting. Basically, there was a discussion regarding signs for the multi-use path, and I was to contact Blue Water Trails to discuss sign options, and since then we've been contacted by New Sarnia, and they've been invited to an October 8th committee meeting to discuss the use of signage in multi-use paths. Another issue that was raised was the waterfront park washroom cleaning, and the operations manager is going to be consulted to discuss different options for scheduling the cleaning. And that's all I had.
Any questions of anyone? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Move on to fire committee.
I'll move that the minutes of the fire committee meeting held July 9th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
A second.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick comments, if I may, Mayor Hand. So our community emergency management coordinator said he spoke to Blackburn Radio to just confirm that we can rely on Blackburn in the event of an emergency. There were some talks that there's nobody at the radio station, but we've been advised that if we have an emergency and we call them, the news director can cut into the radio station right from her home with pre-recorded or live updates. So Claudia now has all of her contact information, and if the sirens go off or there is a need to get news information out on a weekend or overnight, that's all been set up and we're good. The fire hall apron, we're still waiting on to do because we want to park the ladder truck over Public Works. And with the road the way it is, we're just delaying that until we can make sure that we can get the truck out safely that we need it. And then that's about it from the fire department. So
Any questions? Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Environmental services next.
I will move that the minutes of the Environmental Services Committee meeting held July 11th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Just one thing to mention from that meeting was the health and safety concern regarding overgrown grass that is owned by the Federal Bridge. It wasn't being cut, but it's been cut and is being monitored now. And that is all.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. And finance.
Move for the adoption of the finance committee meeting minutes of July 11th, 2024.
I'll second. I was writing, I couldn't do two things at once.
We need a new pen.
No good.
Any questions?
I just had one thing to ask. We had talked about adding a line on our agenda about events, since the finance committee has our events coordinator's budget in it. And just if there was any events that we could highlight through that committee that were coming up before our council meeting. I don't know if it made it into the minutes or not. I didn't see it on there.
Okay.
Just one of those things we just kind of wanted to add in case we had something that was coming up to highlight, especially with all the great work that Shelley does.
I'm not sure if that's on the task list or not, but I'll run by to get that added.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Miscellaneous reports.
I'll move that the building permit report be received and filed.
Any questions?
Second.
Oh, thank you. I got out of order. Any questions? All in favor? Okay. And then we move on to communications receive and file. Maybe 1 through 4
Yeah.
as a grouping.
Yeah, I'll move for the adoption of the minutes 1 through 4 of the animal watch files.
I'll second that.
And then the next one is trails 1 through 4, Lambton
Oh.
Trails.
I'll move that we receive and file item 5, subsections 1 through 4.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor? The next one is the second quarter casino revenue.
Finance, go ahead.
Could I'll just say, I made an error when I sent you guys a message. I'm really sorry. I
That's
said,
okay.
I said we made more than 6. I didn't do my math properly. Sorry.
Mhm.
It was still ahead, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'll move to receive and file item 6.
I'll second that.
Yeah, so it was 5,000 something that we were over from last quarter. 6,000. It's
Again, it was good.
still over.
Always
good.
better.
Okay. Lost the page, sorry.
Your business.
Yeah, it's. Oh, the
Yep.
numbers just jumped. Oh, no, okay, I'm all right, sorry. Okay, we're moving on to new business, and the first item we have, is a food truck proposal for Waterfront Park.
So
I'll turn it over to CIO Burns to
Yeah,
discuss.
we have not had a chance to sit down and review this since the proposal came in as a staff group. We had advertised twice in the last fall and then again this spring for potential second location in the park. We did not get any response to those tenders. This bid was submitted independently of the tender process, but it's the only proposal we've received at this time. The proposal is, originally they wanted to go in that second space that's near the playground equipment. They were told that the fire department specifically was not supportive of that, from having a propane set up that close to the equipment. So the proposal, the person with the proposal has asked that we move it away from the playground equipment, closer to the existing truck. He's referring to that green box, you know, being close to that green box really is irrelevant to, you know, it has nothing to do with operating a food service vehicle in that location. So what his proposal is to pay $12,000 for the remainder of this year and $45,000 for next year. And in return, ask that the village would put in the electrical service required, and then also put in a cement or asphalt pad in the location that we feel is appropriate. I guess we're looking for some feedback from council on how you want to proceed with this. I think my recommendation would be that you turn it back to council or to the staff for, you know, for the details of where exactly it's going to be, and do some investigation into costs. I think my feeling is the $12,000 would get eaten up quite quickly in terms of a cement pad and some electrical work. I don't think 12,000 would last all that long, but I also don't think we'd go way over it. So I think my recommendation would be to just turn it back over to staff, authorize us to enter into an agreement with these folks if we feel it's appropriate, and then report back to council on what we've done. But definitely looking for some feedback.
You didn't mention, to say this out loud, that it's a non-compete to a chip truck.
Right, it's different,
It's
totally
different,
food.
totally different food. Deputy Mayor Grimes?
Just had a brain fart there.
It happens. You know, especially in the US.
Yeah, I had a good question too. So the 5,000, do we think, oh, that's here it is. Okay. Are we okay awarding this without going to a formal tender when we've done formal tender twice and had no response?
To me, I think we've done the due process to go through. I mean, we've advertised for tenders twice. Nobody has submitted anything. So we have had a couple of people over the past year or so. I guess we always have people coming in and asking about specifically about the number one spot. But we get general inquiries 2 or 3 times a year about locations. To me, I don't think we'd be doing anything wrong by offering a contract. We've done the due diligence to say anyone that's interested, please come forward. No one took us up on it. So now that we have an offer, I think we'd be justified in accepting it.
Okay, and then, so we think 5,000 won't do it because we have to pull power across under the parking lot,
Yeah,
possibly.
I believe there's power to that second spot. That's the existing second spot. So my first thought would be to investigate and see if we can pull that power up. Like, I think it comes from, you know, the general location of the existing truck to that second spot. So in theory, it runs fairly close to those poles.
Yeah.
And we'd be able to just expose it and put put something.
I was there today and I didn't see the box anymore, and I've been told by somebody that that's been pulled out.
There would definitely have to be some investigation done. And I mean, one of the things that is a concern is archaeological stuff. I mean, we've been told we can't even really plant a tree down there without doing some kind of investigation. So we'd have to be careful. You know, we're not just going to go start throwing stuff on the ground without doing a bit of investigation into it.
So I think this year's ticking away,
Yeah.
right? And we can't just pour a pad tomorrow and pull electrical tomorrow. So my fear is we go ahead and do this and then the year's almost over and they don't. So I think I'd be okay moving ahead with this because I think investing in a pad and the power is we're going to get a return on investment in subsequent years. I'd like to see them sign the contract for next year for sure. Like this year and next year. And if this year doesn't happen, they're locked into next year. Because I think investing the money in the pad and the power is a good investment because if this deal falls apart, somebody else might come along. So I think turning it back to staff to work on the details and get it firmed up and then move on it as fast as possible. That's what I worry about, is we're not ready to open till Labor Day.
Mhm.
And we all know what Labor Day, how things turn
Yes.
quieter,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
Yeah, I was excited with the proposal
Me too,
because, you know, they went, like, they came forward and we've been talking about it for a couple of years. This is a brand new truck that they've put together, you know, to try this business. And it's so different than fries. I think they can do really well. I think there's a market down there for something different. Ethnic food, so. I hope they can just, you know, stop and work it out, but. For the positive.
So I think what would be appropriate here is that staff be authorized to enter into an agreement. And investigate the requirements to allow this operation to move forward.
and if we could put in whatever we're recommending, that we make every effort to expedite it so that
Sure.
the person can get launched during this season. If,
Get some kind of time.
yeah, to get some,
Through your worship, can I just ask a question? Is the applicant aware of all the requirements involved for insurance, health and safety, that kind of stuff based on the tender document?
I'm not sure based on the tender document, but he's definitely aware that he has to get TSSA inspection, health unit inspection, fire department inspection,
Mhm.
provide insurance. He knows all that stuff.
Okay, because that was what basically the information on the tender, so, okay. As long as he's aware. Thank you.
maybe we could provide them with a copy of that tender document, just so they know what we were looking for.
I could,
Yeah, he had done some homework and he had all the notes about different pieces, so. Okay, so is there anybody prepared to make a motion?
I think I sort of
You
did.
did, you did, so you get seconded? Anybody seconded? Council Noctor? All in favor? Okay, that's good. Carried.
there is, if I may,
Yes.
I had a second item just added. I had a visit yesterday from Sarnia Transit, and they would like to possibly change the route a little bit within the village. So currently it runs every hour and it's a 30-minute loop. It runs once every hour. Basically starts at Northgate, comes across up Venetian through the village a little bit, and then back out to Northgate. Like to Front Street and then back out to Northgate. They would like to alter the route and go, instead of going back out to Northgate, go up to the Shared Services Center and then across to the hospital, then back to Northgate. So it would add a couple of options. They feel a lot of the use from the village is people that are going out of the hospital or to the Shared Services Center or downtown Sarnia kind of thing for whatever purpose. So they're looking at a pilot program to make that change. It would go to a 40-minute route and it would run every hour and 20 minutes. So there could be some potential impacts on people from the village that use that route. So what they would like to do is come to council in September and make a bit of a presentation to us. And, I suggest that we do some kind of a survey with the user groups to tell them, so right now I think it leaves Northgate at 10 minutes past the hour. So now it's going to be like 10 minutes past the hour, then the next time will be 30 minutes past the hour. So there's going to be time changes. And we'd like to provide those time changes to people and let them have the opportunity to provide feedback on how they feel that might affect them.
Can we ask them in the meantime why a 40-minute route can't be done within the hour?
It can, if you want to pay for it.
So what happens to the bus for the extra?
Okay, so
40 minutes.
the Sarnia Transit has changed almost all of their routes to 40-minute loops.
Yeah,
And I mean, some of them are the same as ours where like they're here for 40 minutes and then that bus goes elsewhere for the other 40 minutes. Like it's got a different 40-minute loop somewhere. I don't have a clue where it is.
so it might go do Rosedale or something like that.
Yeah.
And then come
Yeah.
back and do us.
And
So it's
So
every
they've
other
changed.
40.
yeah, they've changed a lot. They would, if we want to pay for every 40-minute service, they would be happy to to pilot that, and like we could try it for a few months and see how it works, but there will be a cost to it. And then costs are offset by usage as well.
Yeah, it just seems. We've talked about improving our transit service in the village and making it better, enhancing it. This change, to me, all it does is improves service in Sarnia and reduces our frequency here in the village. It does help people get to the hospital or downtown without having to do a transfer.
Yeah.
I get that aspect of it, but it's that going from a 1 hour to an hour and 20, you said?
Yeah.
I guess 20 minutes isn't, but
I don't disagree with that,
Yeah.
and I think it's worth mentioning too that those stops would probably most likely increase the revenue, that we
Right.
bring in with ridership. Which could possibly allow us to increase the service without an increased cost.
mhm.
So I think it would be worth looking into, like, doing a pilot possibly, and maybe for our end, coupling that with the transit grant proposal idea again, to maybe run the route twice an hour while that's happening, to kind of see how that would even out. So that they could possibly both be short term, or if it works out, they can stick around and not negatively affect riders from the village so much.
I think the survey information would be telling, because then we'd know, hey, I've always, I spend all my time trying to go to the hospital. This is really good. I don't care about the extra time. I don't know what people
Yeah,
are doing. Why are they riding the bus these days? So we'll be able to find that out.
I do like the idea of it looping by the
Yeah.
hospital. That makes sense. It's the frequency that.
Yeah.
that
Councilor Burgess?
What's the best way to reach our ridership? So just feedback I get from our community a lot of times is, well, I didn't know, I didn't hear that. What's the best way? And I asked this with another question, could we put a flyer on our Point Where bus?
We
The person that gets on,
Mhm.
here, read this, we might make changes.
Yeah,
Could we do
absolutely.
that?
Yeah,
Rather than the survey that not everybody checks our website, not everybody checks our socials. But the person getting on the bus, if we had something to say, this may affect your ride.
Yeah, absolutely. They would be willing to do that.
Something that we discussed at one of the transit committee meetings that was more recent was that if we would like to put up posters, flyers in any of their terminals, they are going to have electronic signage coming soon. So anything like that, if we just have to reach out, we have to supply our own materials if we want to put something up, but they will absolutely put those sorts of things up for us. No problem. We just have to print them ourselves.
Yeah, I just like it to be very direct marketing
Mhm.
to our riders. I know a few years ago, we had a meeting regarding changes in our bus routes. And there was a few people that came in and talked about using the bus on a regular basis that we didn't necessarily know about. It was great that they came in and spoke. But it'd be nice that everybody that does use it knew ahead of time.
It's a good idea.
Your worship? I have a question or a concern on this. Would this be something that Sarnia Transit would do on our behalf on their socials? Because they've got a far reach.
They would, yeah. I mean, if we feel it's appropriate, they would.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, they seem very willing to help gather information or share our information with others. Yeah.
Like if we could do it on our socials, they could do it on their socials, we'd capture more people, I'm sure.
So I think I'm not looking for any answers today. I'm just kind of putting it out there that they will be coming to the meeting in September to talk to us. And
So this isn't part of they wouldn't propose this as a September change, because that's when they change a lot of routes, don't they, Councilor Locker?
They make some changes in the summer months
Right.
and they'll revert back
Oh,
in
okay,
September, but not anything significant like
Okay.
that. And they actually just made a huge change just recently with the main terminal changing over to Clearwater
All right,
Arena.
yes.
So they aren't planning on making any major changes for a little while until people get better adjusted
Okay.
to that.
And it sounded like they were waiting to talk to us first.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Great. that was the only new business I had. It was.
I have a new business item.
Okay, should I start at the end or you want to go
No.
first?
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
You go first.
It's just a quick inquiry on the Holmes Foundry property standards. I've had a number of questions about the grass and the weeds.
Okay, so the last I heard, the contractor that did it last year was meeting with a contractor, a different contractor. I have not heard an update on what that was. I did see them on site
Walking around.
discussing it.
Okay.
So, but I don't have any concrete timeline or anything like that. I can talk to property owner and see if he has any.
Okay. Thank you. That's all, Mayor Hand.
Councilor Burgess?
Are we into the community events?
Yeah.
That's part of your business.
Mhm.
I just want to mention Elena Burns from Point Edward. She's a runner and she was selected to be part of the 100 women for 100-mile challenge and they broke the world record.
Awesome.
Is there a way we could just maybe write her a letter from the village acknowledging that we knew about this and it's impressive. It's part of a world record team of runners. She goes to the University of Detroit Mercy. She's on their track team and their cross country team. But she's graduate of Bridgeview School and it's a pretty big deal. And I think we should recognize it somehow.
Sometimes in the past, we've had them come in front of us, but that probably wouldn't work out because of her school.
Yeah,
So we'd probably have to, the idea of the letter is the best way.
something like that. Like
Yeah.
I know when kids have been part of Ontario
Yeah.
championships or something, they've been recognized before in here.
Sure.
But I don't know how that equates into it, but I think it's pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
I know she's a friend of my daughter's and she was thrilled just to be selected to run one of the miles. And it is a world record they broke, so it was pretty cool.
I can draft it up and send it to you for a look at it. And then I'll throw in something with the letter, like some pointer memorabilia.
Sure.
Ariane?
We are running a special transit bus for the Vintage in the Village, which is on Friday. And I believe it will be the same as the last route, correct? So it will run the normal route until 8:30 for just $1 if you get on the bus by network. So on your way back, it'll be a $1. If you're coming from Sarnia, you pay the regular rate on the way there and then $1 on the way back.
What is the regular rate?
Three.
I think it's $3.
$3.
Yeah. It's been a while, I wouldn't know. Thank you for that. Okay, I just wanted to remind everyone on council with August the 1st is the Warden's Picnic in Enniskillen, and I'm sure everybody's responded to the RSP. The car show, which Ariana brought up, is this Friday. No, yeah, this Friday is the 26th, from 5 till 8, Vintage in the Village. So like hope for good weather. Also wanted to mention that in August, we have no council meeting or committee meetings unless the call of the chair, because of something that might have come up. Annual conference is August. I think it's 18th to 21st. Yeah, 18 to 21. And we already talked about the casino. Okay. That's all I have as far as events. Tim?
I have nothing at this point in time. Thanks.
Okay.
Bylaws?
First one, bylaw number 17.
So this is the first person that we've had that's come in for a connection to a water line on St. Clair Street. They had the work done. So this is a bylaw that allows us to enter into agreement, and it lays out the payments that would be made over the 5-year period starting in 2025.
Is this underwater or under finance?
It's just a bylaw. Whoever says they want to make the motion first.
Sorry, I just don't want to jump someone else's committee, so that's why I asked.
I was thinking the same. I can make the motion.
Okay. Thank you.
I can second it. I have a question.
Okay, questions?
Will we do a bylaw for every person that does this, or it's just?
We will do it, like if I get 4 come in the same month,
Mhm.
they'll all come in under one bylaw. So that schedule at the end,
Yeah,
we just have 4 lines. So
so would it become bylaw 27 of 2024?
yeah.
So we can't just amend bylaw 17? to
no,
add
I
the
would
four
do a
ones?
separate bylaw each time.
Can we not just create a bylaw giving the ability to do these deals rather than?
I think, I feel the appropriate way to do it is do it by bylaw,
Okay.
because then there's an absolute paper trail that spells out the terms and conditions on it, and it's, yeah,
And they've signed something, have they?
they will,
Yeah,
yeah.
based on this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a letter that I prepared and it says how much the loan is. And then they sign it, I sign it. It's kept on file.
Good.
And then most likely we will pay the bill, we'll write the check directly to the company.
Right.
All in favor? Thank you. Counselor, sorry, bylaw 18 about maintaining highways.
So this, it's called a bylaw to maintain highways. It's in response to the discussion we've had about maintaining boulevards. Mike did a fair bit of research on this. And I mean, there's a direct section in it about boulevards, but it also covers a few other things. Like one of them is depositing snow and leaves on the road, which is covered under the Highway Traffic Act. But we also just felt it doesn't hurt to have it in a bylaw. And if it's in another bylaw somewhere, that's fine too. It's okay to be covered in multiple spots. So it does cover quite a bit more than just boulevards. But we also felt that it does give the operations manager a little bit of leeway. If somebody does want to do something on their boulevard, they can, but they have to get approval for it first. So if somebody comes in and wants to do something reasonable, then that would be up to the operations manager to make that determination.
Mary Grimes?
2 questions. And I just saw this on social media that people were asking about grass clippings on the highway, and I see we've got a whole bunch of stuff listed, but we don't have grass specifically. We have leaves, garbage, manure, earth, ashes.
I believe it's an existing bylaw.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I believe we could add grass clippings
Yeah.
very easily. I mean, it's just
Maybe we should just in that one section, that'd be 3.1, B. Then my second question is I just want to make sure that this deals with the residents that have or will or may alter their boulevard by removing the grass, so that I permanently or temporarily erect curbing, landscaping, rocks, or ornamental material. So on a highway. So on a highway means the boulevard.
Yes.
Because the boulevard is considered part
part
of
of
the
the
highway.
highway, yeah.
So this would not allow gravel to be put in or
That's correct.
rocks or,
Without approval from the operations
Right.
manager.
and would that approval come to council or can it see?
That could be direction. If you want it to come to committee level, then it would, yeah. If it would depend on how you instruct us on how to deal with it.
And the
What's
other
everyone think?
question I have is, one time I knew that we have 19 that are altered, that I believe they would be grandfathered.
I would assume so.
Yeah. Okay. So we would need an inventory. So you know what you grandfathered, and then you would know if anybody else came after that, so. I mean,
So-
19 was about a couple of years ago, so it could be more. than
Oh,
that.
I know there's at
Yeah.
least 3 more.
Yeah,
So do we want it to come to committee or just allow Mike to? I think as long as Mike understands that we're not big fans of it, right? And that
Right.
that's not the route we want to go.
I think a conversation with council prior to making any decisions to find what the thought process would be. I would be a fan of doing that, just understand where you sit and make the decisions accordingly, but I have no issue bringing it. to
Yeah.
council.
Okay.
like to committee.
Yeah, to committee,
I
yeah.
think, if he thinks it's different enough that maybe we want to talk about it, come to committee.
Yeah.
And that doesn't preclude him from saying no right off the bat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it's something ridiculous. He can just say, no, we're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
Counselor Mondu?
Does this include village trees as well? Because we've got some people who have gone ahead and planted their own trees on the boulevard.
So yeah, it
It
does.
does say
I mean,
that, yep.
It's like,
I'm just making sure that people will be aware that they have to get permission. Well, really, it's a village responsibility for trees, not them.
yeah, at
Right.
the end of the day, it's our property. And if somebody plants a tree on it and we don't want it there, it's our property. So
Yeah, that's what I would just want to make, if that, the wording in this will cover that.
Any other questions?
And then will we somehow promote this or let people know that we've done this, or do we, I just would hate to see somebody rip up all the sod and start putting gravel in, and then we come along and tell them they can't.
yeah, we can do that. I mean, we're not gonna go door to door with
No.
it, but we can send it out through our social media and their
Yeah.
constant contact and get the information out as best we can.
Yeah, I think we should do
The
that.
next newsletter,
Yeah,
put that as a note.
Yeah.
The next newsletter.
Okay.
Next one is,
I
sorry,
think we don't have a
No.
mover.
sorry.
I moved it.
Yeah. I think we seconded it.
Not this one, but
No, not this one. Okay. I don't. And then all in favor? That's carried. Next one is about parks.
Yeah, this is just our park use bylaw. So we discussed this 2 months ago.
Mhm.
And it brought there was a list of about 4 changes there. And I kind of asked council, because this is one of the meetings that when our Facebook page was deactivated, we lost the meeting with it. It happened in between the time we go live on Facebook and the time we uploaded it to YouTube. So we don't have that meeting. So if there's anything in there that you feel we missed, 2 of the things that we changed were the times. The original bylaw, I believe, said midnight to 5 a.m. We changed it to 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then the other thing that was talked about was fishing. And I think the original read of it was that you're not allowed to fish in the park, in our parks. But it actually says you're not allowed to fish in the park if you're putting somebody else's safety at risk, which I think is appropriate because down along the river, there's quite often people swimming. And so it's saying if they're out there swimming, you can't be fishing. It's not, I don't think our intent is to stop people from fishing. It's just that it needs to be done safely, not to put other people at risk.
And one change that I recommended under 22 was to change the words bathing beach to waterfront. So we don't necessarily have a bathing beach, but we do have a waterfront, right? So
Okay,
that's
so section 22.
A and B, it refers to a bathing beach.
There's a little bit of beach right now, but that could change in
Yeah.
a different year, right? How the water level is.
Okay.
So we're just gonna say, loiter or conduct himself or herself in such a manner as to be objectionable to any persons in or immediately adjacent to the waterfront in any public park.
Okay.
And then bring to the waterfront park or the waterfront, any public park where the water is adjacent there to any underwater skier or shooting device.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we can make that change very easily.
No.
And then we did talk about, I thought we talked about permits or something like that. Then the only thing I want to bring up is I was speaking to somebody that's a Sarnia police officer, and they just recently modified their park use bylaw to include the prohibition of gang or club colors. And they actually had to use it as part of the Canada Day festivity in Canada Park to remove several people who were displaying gang colors in the park. And one of the people that they dealt with actually had a knife on it when they made him leave the park. So he just recommended, if we're doing this, to include the prohibition of gang colors. And you'll see the sign now at Walmart. If you go to Walmart, they now have a sign up that says no gang colors allowed in Walmart. It's becoming a bit of sadly, it's becoming a bit of a reality. And
I've seen it at the Brigden Fair.
Yeah, yeah.
You walk into the gates of the Brigden Fair, it's right there.
There's
What
a sign.
exactly
Yeah.
does that entail adding into the bylaw? Like,
Yeah,
what-
that's-
what are,
Well, the police would understand.
so it's whatever the police are considering a
Yeah.
gang color.
Like this officer said, when he was at Canadair Park, he saw a guy wearing known color or gang regalia and told him he wasn't allowed in the park wearing them. So
So if they're wearing like a specific color, they're allowed to.
It's not a specific color. It's called your gang colors and it's a badge, like a patch.
yeah, yeah.
It's called your colors, but it's not actually blue, right?
Okay, not-
That's right.
No
Yeah.
blue
Yeah,
shirts.
it's-
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it wouldn't be everybody in a blue shirt outside
Yeah.
the park. It would be,
Yeah.
Right.
the police officer knows the badge or the crest or the thing that relates to identifies you as a gang member. And then he or she would remove you from the park based on that, or deal with you at least.
So it's more like badger crest or something along those lines.
Yeah, there's something that indicates you belong to this group. And like, yeah, it's a patch. I would say for the most part, it's a patch.
Just look like that.
But the term he used was gang colors, which is,
That's what they call it.
Yes,
Is
yeah,
gang colors.
yeah.
But it's basically just a patch.
And does our local,
Or my
I know you
expensive.
said, the Sarnia police officers have that, does our local OPP have the same sort of database information?
I would say if there was gang activity in the village, they would know about it.
and OPP have a guns and gangs unit who
Yeah.
specialize in all this stuff, so I'm sure they would know.
And do you know if this is common elsewhere as well, or if this is just something that is new that Sarnia is looking into?
Well, the officer I spoke with told me we do have somebody in the village now that displays that and was involved in a Christmas in the Village incident, if I go anywhere farther than that, but.
I think the counselor's asking is if other municipalities
Oh.
have similar.
Well,
Part
Sarnia,
of the
Sarnia
bylaws.
does. I assume it's becoming fairly standard.
I know a lawyer I can talk to and get some quick advice.
I'm not,
Somewhere to put that
I'm
in
not
the bylaw.
against your suggestion, I'm just looking for more
Yeah.
information, more adding.
Do we want to?
I can bring some stuff back to the September meeting. I don't think there's a great hurry to pass this through. We're just, this one, like, I wasn't sure if we'd pass this one or the road one tonight. More for discussion, to prepare.
I was anxious to pass this one just for to make sure the park use is managed.
I was more anxious to pass this one than the other one.
So can we pass this one and then amend it
Yeah, we
in
can.
September?
Yeah.
I'd rather pass it tonight and then you look into the gang color and then we can make an amendment to it.
So what we'll do, unless there's something else, we'll pass it tonight as amended for the beach, the bathing beach to adjacent to open water.
Yeah.
And then we can bring back, to amend it at a future meeting. It's very easy to do.
Does that work for you, Councillor Knox?
Tim, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. Just want to, I have a question around part 3 animals, 7, 2, it's, or no, 7.3. It said permit any animals to be on a beach in a public park. If they're on the beach, they're probably going to be in the water as well. Do we need to specify that, or does that go without
I
saying?
would say it's just covered. Like if they're not allowed on the beach, they're not allowed on the water.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that I think what's there covers it.
Okay. I have
Can we
another.
change to something else?
I have something else. Okay, section section 20. Section 20, where is it now?
Closures.
It's B. It says here, public park be closed between the hours of 12 midnight and 5 a.m. And we're proposing that we shut the parking lot down from 2 in the morning till 5 in the morning. That makes no sense to me,
Changing it.
because you've got, if you're closing the park, you don't need cars parking in the parking lot, because nothing good happens after midnight.
Where's the parking lot?
It is part 2. Part 2A, no, parking, part 4. section B. We've changed the parking lot from 2 to 5 for parking, but the park is closed from 12 till 5.
So the park's supposed to be 2 to 5 as well.
Makes no sense.
Okay, so you just want to change?
I'm after changing, if we close the park from 12 to 5, which it should be, parking is closed as well. Because nobody needs to be in a park after midnight. And also my question is, does this include our trail? Our trail system, because are they classified as parks? The waterfront trail, that's part of waterfront park, is it not?
Within the park it is. I'm not sure that it is, along the north edge of the village. I don't know if,
Well, to me, that's a park.
I don't know.
There's benches, garbage pails, grass, like that's it's an extension of a park.
I'm just wondering because it would make it really simple for our officers to know anything after midnight. It's questionable behavior.
I don't support midnight personally. I thought we all
I don't
agreed
either.
2 to 5 would be the park and the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I think Jim just missed changing that.
Yeah, I just missed changing one.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't agree at the time. I brought it up,
Yep.
but I got pushed over on that. So anyways, I'm really quite concerned that this bylaw won't have any weight if we pass it.
Through you, Marion, can we ask why it won't have any weight?
Yeah, I'm not concerned. Go ahead.
Councilor Mandu?
Oh, just between 2 and 5 in the morning, like make it midnight. Like why do people need to be in a park after midnight? They don't. You're looking at we're talking about gangs, we're talking about kids, mischievous, nuisance, everything else. Like if you're saying you want to walk your dog, you don't have to walk through a park. Or if kids are hanging out, as I said, nothing good happens after midnight. That's my opinion. And you get, we have, that will mean that cars will be in and out of the parks, under the bridge still, I don't know. I just don't see anything changing by doing this.
And I think that's our goal. Like right now, the park's open
Yeah.
24 hours.
Mm.
I think we're closing this loophole to deal with other issues as well. And I think that the closer from 2 to 5 is, and I think I've had some good stuff happen after midnight in my
Oh.
life.
I see a lot of fishermen going down there at that hour.
Yeah,
Like by my house, they park along the Laws plant there. I mean,
That's when you catch the pickerel.
there's
at
a lot of
dusk
fishermen at midnight,
And after.
and I hate to be too restrictive
yeah.
because I don't see a problem right now, and I
Okay.
don't want to be too restrictive.
I just have an example. My daughter's a runner. She'd rather run at night than first thing in the morning. If she's working a late shift, she'll get home at 11 PM, change and go for a run. And she runs distance. She'll go for an hour and she would rather run at the end of the day than early in the morning. So just, that would be an example. And she's gonna be a shift worker.
Yeah, I mean, we are a shift worker population.
Okay, I just say I won't be supporting this bylaw in its current form.
So just so we're all agreeing, we are doing, as it's been edited or amended, it's now 2 to 5, both sections. And that's what we're gonna vote on, correct?
You gonna move her in?
No,
Are we there yet?
I don't think we don't
we
have a mover and
started-
seconder. We've just been discussing it.
who wants to move?
I would move it.
Councillor Burgess is moving it
I'll second it.
and Deputy Mayor Grimes is seconding it. Okay, all in favor? Opposed?
2 to 3.
You have two.
Just for now.
Yeah, it's, anyways, passes because it's 3-2.
And then with the asterisk that it'll be coming back September with recommendation on the gang color.
Okay, at this point in time, we're moving to an in-camera session. And we'll be coming out and adjourning. So for anyone that's listening, I just wanted you to be aware. to talk about property matters that we're able to talk about under the act.
Understood.